When seemingly the entire sports world decided to embrace woke politics over this past summer, we decided to stay away from it on this channel. Now, I talked about the impact that wokeness had on the NBA's television ratings, which tanked for the end of the regular season and the playoffs. Ratings for the NBA Finals were down over 50% from last year. But other than that, we stayed away from wokeness on this channel. The reason is there's no way to win when it comes to politics. Just look at what's going on with this presidential election. They can't even name a damn winner. It's clear to me who won, but it might be clear to you somebody else won. That is politics. By design, politics are divisive. They are designed to keep people divided because that's the only way that politicians can remain in power. It benefits me none to mention politics on this channel. Why would I want to divide my audience? I focus on the NFL and the NBA, two things that need to be as far away from politics as possible. The NBA is learning that the hard way. They've learned it the hard way the past several months, to the point where NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has publicly admitted that they made a mistake with their political embrace, and it wouldn't be happening next season. I say all of this because ESPN has become an arm of the woke movement, and you can argue an arm of the Democratic Party. This actually started happening 2 or 3 years ago with Jemele Hill. Jemele Hill, one of, if not the biggest race baiter in the country. It got so bad with Jemele Hill at ESPN, her constantly bringing up racial politics on the air, that they decided to part ways with her. Now, I can't remember if she was fired or her contract just wasn't renewed, or maybe she was just miserable at ESPN and left on her own. Whatever it was, the reason for her leaving had to do with her being so political. ESPN did not learn their lesson with Jemele Hill. When the George Floyd murder happened back in May, the sports network decided that their best course of action was to go full woke. Now, don't misunderstand me when I say this, but in a way, I can kind of understand ESPN's position just a little bit. Even though I 100% disagree with it, I kind of understand their thought process. At the time of George Floyd's murder, we had been without live sports in this country for over 2 months. ESPN was desperate for programming. I mean, what do you talk about on a network centered around sports when there are no sports happening and none looking to return for months? I tell you what you don't do. You don't go woke. You don't turn ESPN into ESPNBC News. This should have been clear to management at ESPN. They had the NFL as an example with the whole Colin Kaepernick situation back in 2016. When Kaepernick began his protest back in the preseason of 2016 and carried it over into the regular season along with other players who supported him, ratings for the NFL dropped 20%. I've always viewed the NFL as untouchable. I've always thought that nothing could bring the league down. It's just too popular. But politics can. Ratings for the NFL didn't go back up until the league did something about the Colin Kaepernick situation. They essentially blackballed him from the NFL. Now, it upset some people, but for the most part, the audience was content enough that they returned. And the NFL did the same thing this season. Week 1, they tolerated and they allowed the woke propaganda, the 2 national anthems, all the other garbage. The ratings tanked, understandably so, and after week 1, the NFL has pretty much removed politics from its broadcast, and ratings are starting to tick back up. ESPN did the complete opposite. Like I said a second ago, it started with Jemele Hill a few years ago. Then after the George Floyd murder back in May, ESPN dove straight into woke and racial politics. A large number of their on-air personalities were beating viewers over the head with their wokeness on a daily basis. It was like being woke was a badge of honor. Max Kellerman, for example. Max Kellerman began voicing his political beliefs daily on First Take, his disdain for Donald Trump. He was also one of the loudest voices talking about how dangerous the COVID was, calling for the NFL and the college football seasons to be canceled. Because, we're in a pandemic. It's too dangerous to play football. We shouldn't be playing. Captain Woke, Stephen A. Smith, he was right there beside Max Kellerman talking about racial politics. Then ESPN doubled down with the ESPY Awards, which was one giant 2 or 3 hour broadcast or advertisement on wokeness. But ESPN got even more woke. The network aired a SportsCenter special called Time for Change. We Won't Be Defeated. It was produced by The Undefeated, which is an ESPN website dedicated and targeted towards African Americans. The special was, well, to be honest with you, it was appalling to a lot of people. I don't offend or get angry very easily. I watched that garbage of a special that ESPN produced. It was maddening. I'll give you an example. Here's a quote from some dude named Tim Wise. He's a white guy. He's an anti-racism educator. Now, I've never heard of that job before or that course in college. It sounds like your typical white liberal college professor who's never held a real job outside of the education system and knows nothing about the real world. Here is what he had to say as to why white people find it hard to talk about racism. Quote, when you have been the beneficiary of a system of inequality, when you have actually reaped billions of dollars over the years in wealth and assets and land, you're not going to want to confront that, end quote. I'm sorry. I was just looking for the billions of dollars that I've reaped over the years from being white. Let me tell you what I'm the beneficiary of. I'm the beneficiary of good parents. I'm the beneficiary of parents that educated me, taught me to work hard, paid for my college. My rewards have nothing to do with my skin tone. It gets even better though with ESPN, or in this case Disney, who owns ESPN. Back in July, Disney announced a deal with Colin Kaepernick that includes an exclusive docuseries. Now, guess who the producer is going to be? Jemele Hill. That's right. They've made the smart business decision to get in bed with Colin Kaepernick, who tanked the NFL's ratings, and Jemele Hill, who started the decline in ESPN's ratings. I don't know when they're going to realize that people are tired of being preached to about racism from millionaire athletes and millionaire suits like Stephen A. Smith or Dan Le Batard, who haven't known financial struggle in 20 or 30 years. It is the height of hypocrisy. ESPN doesn't understand that though. The network that claims to be woke is fast asleep. They don't have their finger on the pulse of what their audience really wants, which is, we tune into ESPN to hear about sports, not politics. ESPN is beginning to pay the price for their wokeness. Actually, ESPN's been paying the price for wokeness for months now. A weird thing started happening as ESPN began using their network to preach woke politics instead of sports. Their television ratings tanked. I've mentioned before, ESPN hit a 41-year ratings low over the summer. First Take, which is the show with Captain Woke Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman, is the highest rated show on the network. It averaged over the summer 211,000 viewers. Now that is god-awful. The ESPYs, which I mentioned earlier, the award show full of wokeness, was the lowest rated in the show's history. It averaged 482,000 viewers across both ESPN and ESPN2. Clearly, America did not care to see ESPN's humanitarian and social woke awards show. The SportsCenter special that I mentioned a second ago, it drew 100,000 viewers, and this was heavily promoted by ESPN. 100,000 viewers. That was the lowest watched program on ESPN in the past 25 years. And now, the network is starting to feel the effects of their dedication to politics. There are rumors floating around that ESPN is about to have massive layoffs. We're talking between 300 and 700 employees losing their jobs, which is terrible. It's not a positive thing when we're talking about people losing their work. But this is exactly what ESPN as a network deserves. Now, this comes on the heels of ESPN having huge layoffs in April and November of 2017. In the media, they're making the usual excuses as to why ESPN's in so much trouble. Oh, it's Disney. COVID affected their theme parks, and that's affecting ESPN. People weren't watching ESPN because no sports were airing. Movie theaters were closed, and it hurt Disney, which hurt ESPN. The usual garbage from the media. Maybe some of that had something to do with ESPN's layoffs, but I believe the television ratings dropping to the point that they're at now is also a big reason. So who's ESPN going to lay off? Will it be the television personalities or management that made the decision to go woke? Are they going to lay them off? No, of course not. Reports are saying ESPN is looking at laying people off who work behind the camera. Producers, cameramen, writers, the people that had nothing to do with the network going woke in the first place. Now, if you read the ESPN press room, ratings for the network are actually rebounding. They're bragging about an increase in ratings the past few months for SportsCenter, PTI, First Take. It's funny though, they don't give you the hard numbers. The truth is, just last week, ESPN had only 3 shows ranked in the top 50 for cable. SportsCenter, which ESPN bragged is up 70% in the ratings, was watched by 463,000 people. It ranked number 50. Around the Horn came in at number 47, 475,000. Pardon the Interruption was number 19, 708,000. Pretty decent number. I would tell you Captain Woke's ratings on First Take. I couldn't find them. I would assume because they're so low. The bottom line is ESPN is in trouble. Now, I'm not sure if ESPN will ever return to their glory days. There's just too many ways for people to consume media now. More and more people are turning to YouTube personalities for sports news instead of traditional media. And I think it's because a lot of us on YouTube are more relatable. But also, we're not preaching politics. If ESPN never becomes the ratings giant that it used to be, we're going to point to this past summer, when the network went woke, as the beginning of ESPN's decline. All right, that's all for today. Hit that like and subscribe button. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Leave me a comment in the section below. Have you guys stopped watching ESPN? And if you have, did you quit watching because the network became too political? Let me know your thoughts. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. If you have any questions or a topic you'd like me to discuss, you can email me at BTLKC84@gmail.com. I'll see you guys next time.